Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Are you an inspiring entrepreneur? Or maybe you're an entrepreneur looking to take your business to the next level. My name is LarryWBrooks, and I am the author of Empowering Quotes for the Entrepreneur in You and The Entrepreneur Code. In these two books, I guarantee you there's success secrets that will take your business to the next level. I personally invite you to visit LarryWBrooks.com. Go under the books link and purchase your signed personal copy from myself. You have a great day and have an awesome 2020.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I urge you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate, please visit our website at brooksanddavis.com, because if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in Houston, my partner and I are here to help. I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week, man. It's an honor and a pleasure as always to be here with you. My co-host, riding with me on episode 140 is a multi-time author, Texas real estate broker, the proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand, known the world over as the Texas Real Estate King. For 140th episode in a row is the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. What's going on, bro?
What up, man? Hey, 140.
140.
Come on now.
Come on, man.
Hey,
We
man,
out
that's
here.
a lot of people. That's a lot of inspiring people that have been on this show, man. People that have poured back into others with their journey, with the way that they build their businesses. And, you know, I'm happy to say that most of the people that I've seen out of the 140 that we've had on the show, man, just are still killing it. And they're taking their business to the next level. So,
you know, it's been heartwarming because I get inbox, DM messages from some of the members of our audience talking about how over our last 140 episodes, they've been inspired by so many talented entrepreneurs here in the greater Houston area that they didn't even know were operating in this area. And I just want everyone to know that this city is so chock full of so many talented professionals.
True.
That in the city of Houston, you can make any of your dreams come true. So that's why I'm just glad we were able to start this platform so that we could bring these type of professionals and type of talents to the stage and expose them to the entire community. So
I totally
for
agree,
that,
man.
I'm thankful, man.
Yeah, you know, and I see we say 140, but we really mean right around 139 because we got the big 140 with us today. Right? So today's episode going to take us over that 140 mark for sure of talented, skillful entrepreneurs that we've had in front of us. But not only that, man, I just want to thank the people that have continued to follow and support the podcast on all of the platforms, especially the YouTube. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe and join us on YouTube, please feel free to do so. We're knocking it out the ballpark. We got some special things that we've been doing with it.
And you know, every week I ask you, Larry, to give the audience a little background to how you develop the relationships with the guests that we have on the podcast. And you've outdone yourself this week. So could you give our audience a little background as far as what the Texas Real Estate King had to make happen?
You know,
get us our guests this week?
It's funny, man, because the thing is that, so, you know, I love synergy, right? Synergy is something when you find positive, outgoing people. Sometimes you could have never have came in contact with them physically before, but you built a relationship of you built a good spirit about them through things like social media now. Right. So myself and Hugo had an opportunity to meet on Clubhouse.
Oh, that's what's
funny.
up.
That app has truly bridged a lot of gaps on inspirational or strong.
No, but for
people,
real,
so.
invite everybody in the audience to check out the Prime Real Estate Network channel on Clubhouse because you are on there quite a bit. You're speaking, and you give out so many gems on a regular basis.
I do, man. And you know, I have the pleasure of most of the time that I'm on there with Hugo V. So you know what I'm saying? It's just an opportunity, but literally, if you have not joined, please feel free to join. We always in the Hello Houston room, Wake Up Houston room, in the mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. or either of those rooms. So y'all feel free.
So without any further ado, I want to introduce this week's guest to our audience. This gentleman is a dynamic, professional, motivational speaker, and he is also the founder of LifeIsWonderful.love, the website and the program. I want to thank him so much for carving some time out of his busy schedule to sit in with us. And then I want to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience our guest this week, Mr. Hugo Vrsalovic. How you doing?
Thank you. Well, I'm doing awesome, doing wonderful. You know how they say you're not feeling wonderful when something's doing. Yes, sir. You're not working it.
Now, I want to thank you so much, Hugo, and I want to make sure we give you an opportunity, especially at the beginning of your interview, to talk a little bit about LifeIsWonderful.love, the website, and what services you provide to the community.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, LifeIsWonderful.love is one of those things that you didn't even know that you were going to start a business, and then everything kind of came to fruition.
Wow.
About 2 years ago, I was at a retreat. So I'm at a retreat. So I'm a recovering, grateful, truly grateful compulsive gambler alcoholic. Because without going down those roads of those struggles, you can never find yourself.
Right.
And really understand, okay, what do I really want out of my life? So I'm at this 12-step retreat dealing with compulsive gambling. And someone was supposed to do the wrap-up. And, you know, we go through, we can talk more, you know, so people don't know about, there's the 12 steps of recovery. And really the steps of recovery are designed for someone to really get their life back in order, to start taking responsibility, for them to be the man or the woman that they were always destined to be, and that they can be miracles of recovery and just miracles of life. So I'm at this retreat, and they're saying, okay, the person, I opened it. The person was supposed to close it. They had to do something. The guy said, hey, do you mind kind of closing? I said, okay, fine. This will be fun.
Right.
See, I took a speech course back in high school, and I always loved speaking. Okay. And after I got out of college, after I went to UT, you know, I always was trying to get into back into kind of public speaking as I was getting into sales. And so I joined Toastmasters, and I was always trying to get into really the nuances of public speaking and actually even going into public speaking. But of course, going through the road of addiction, it kind of sidetracks you, you know, to kind of what your destiny may be,
right.
You know, when you're in your late 20s. So I've always been away, even when I went back and, you know, got my MBA, when I had to give a presentation, I wasn't going to do something, but I always thought, oh, you know, so boring, this whole PowerPoint, you know, do something.
Right.
You know, I was always looking at a creative way. So I go back and I'm in my room and I'm saying, okay, how can I make it really memorable? Because we want to get people excited about recovery, about changing their lives, not just for 1 week or 1 month, but, you know, for a lifetime, to really see really what they could do. So I get this epiphany, said, rewrite the 12 steps of recovery. So that's what I did. So I kept everything the way it was originally written by Bill Wilson and AA way back in 1938, and we're only 1935, but as I kind of developed it with the actual original Big Book. So instead of doing it the whole longed out, you know, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, gambling, drugs, you know, and our lives become unmanageable. I changed the first step is we believed a lie. Because I got to kind of, and I was trying to make everything kind of short and sweet. Like, you know, step 2 is we need help. You know, all the way to get to step 12, which is faith, hope, love. Because I always assume that's really where we need to really kind of live. We want to live in faith, hope, and love. And so that's how it all kind of came out. And so that's how the whole business started 2 years ago, with a simple request to finish out a retreat, and then everything grew.
One of the things that's most impressive about your professional speaking career, as I was doing my research leading into this week's show, is that you have a message and a presentation for preteens, high schoolers, college-age people. Then you also have presentations for corporations, adult recovery centers. And my question for you is, does your message change with the different age demographics? And what is it that you've seen as the differences in the needs of those people in those 3 different age ranges?
Well, you always have to, like they say, and if you're ever going to give a speech, or even if you're going to write a book or, you know, write an article, you got to know who your audience is.
Absolutely.
So the overall message, you could say, is very similar. But, you know, certain delivery certain ways, techniques, certain stories are going to be utilized differently. Like if you're talking to a recovery center, there's certain things as being an addict, they're going to get much easier than someone that's in middle school, high school, or even at a corporation because they might have the same experiences. But a lot of that, so I mean, you kind of tweak it, but overall the message is really I'm just trying to uplift people to become, my tagline is empowering people through self-awareness.
Wow.
So I'm trying to get people to become self-aware. Now and then I kind of tailor it to a way, okay, how is the middle school, high school person going to receive it compared to, as they're growing, but they're getting now bombarded with so many images about drugs, sex, gambling, everything is now at the forefront.
And that leads into my next question, because self-awareness is a term that is so powerful, but so few people have a true definition of what that means in their real life. So when a school reaches out to you and asks you to come in and speak to their kids, what are some of the things that they're telling you that they feel like the kids are struggling with that they would like for you to touch on?
Here's the thing. Way back in the 90s, I gave back to my alma mater, and I was talking, and there was a principal there that we had for a number of years. And they always said, he says, the same issues that were there in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s are going to be there here in the 90s. Mm-hmm. But I said, and he also said, but they're going to still be there in the 2000s, the 2010s. A lot of those issues, we may have more technology, and, there may be much more of a social media part than what the three of us grew up with. But essentially, the kids are still going through the same issues. Right. They're all still developed. They're growing up. They're dealing with how to deal. They're dealing with that family stuff. And, everyone feels like, and I just did a video on family where I say, family loves us and family rejects us. Because it's hard for me to believe that there isn't at one point in your life that you don't feel listened to at home, or you feel rejected, or you feel like, or someone's really kind of almost demoralizing your dreams. You can say like, I want to be a professional athlete, and someone will say, oh, you can't do that. Or I want to be a doctor, and you can't, there's always someone in your family, your close friendship. And that's happened to me. And I'll tell you, even when I was looking for getting help, and I would say that I need to go see a therapist. I need to go to a 12-step meeting. Right. You know what? It's almost like I was talking a different language. I was like talking Chinese. It's like, you're not that bad.
You didn't feel that the support was there.
No support. There was zero support except for my brother's first wife and a woman that I was dating. I felt completely alone. And this is actually looking at, and they had to have known that I'm completely crazy. And I needed help. And all I asking was, I need help. I didn't ask them to pay for anything. I didn't ask. They weren't going to go to the meetings. They weren't going to go to the therapy sessions. But somehow it was a reflection on the, this is what I said. Sometimes people think it's a reflection on the family. How people say, don't let the family business out of this door.
Right. Yep.
It's like, well, I'm trying to live my best life, and I feel miserable. Wow. Why can't I search for answers? I didn't know what I needed. I just knew I needed to do something differently.
No, and what is so intriguing about you sharing that particular story, and I thank you so much for being so transparent, is because it just leads me to think, Larry, how many other successful professionals are operating in this same fog?
I agree.
And haven't had someone like you in their circle to help them pinpoint what they're feeling. If you can go back to that time when you were reaching out and thinking about going into recovery, what were some of the things that you were experiencing that other professionals might be experiencing right now that just hadn't had that epiphany or that enlightenment that they need help?
Well, the first time when I was trying to address my alcohol issue, I just had turned 30. And I realized, when you have all these dreams when you're kind of getting in high school, like, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to have this big house, I'm going to have this beautiful wife, I'm going to have this family, all these things. And I turned 30, I had my own company, but deep down I just felt miserable. Wow. I felt there's a certain peace alone, I had girlfriends, but they could probably see because I was also gambling that I was, number one, people can kind of pick up, I was emotionally unstable, emotionally immature. I didn't have the finances where I wanted him to be because I was doing a lot of other things or sidetracked.
Right.
And so I just knew that one emotion was I felt miserable, even though I really didn't know anything about emotions.
Wow.
I was an emotional child because, growing up, I was pushed academically, athletically, and I grew up Catholic, and we went to church every week. So I knew everything about, certain things about how Catholicism worked, how the Bible worked, what you needed to do, but I was never, we didn't talk about emotions. And I know that's where I think a lot of people kind of fall prey, is that no one knows how to express themselves or open up.
Wow.
I mean, whether or not people's feeling sad. I tell people all the time now is it's okay for a day if something happens to you to say, I feel depressed. But everyone runs from that. Like there's something wrong with you. Because if you're depressed, Larry, I don't want to talk to you today. Come back to me when you're
feeling better.
Feel better, right?
Yeah.
And saying it's like,
wow.
We all have a day. Now if you're depressed for a long period of time, I'd say, you maybe need to look at what is going on. Maybe you have some type of traumatic experience. Maybe you have something currently struggling that you're not able to express yourself. But it's okay to say that, I'm feeling anxious today, or I'm feeling joyful, I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm content. You can talk about a feeling. So those were the things is I didn't know what I was feeling. And I needed coaching. We talk about everyone needs a coach and a mentor. We were going to talk about, you talk about, the things that, like, how Michael Jordan talks about, what made him, ended up being greater is because he had someone like Phil Jackson. Right. He had to learn from someone like Phil Jackson. Right. So if you're talking about, you can talk about any great athlete, but you can talk about almost anybody in business. Mm-hmm. They can almost, you read, because I was big, you can read books like from Rockefeller, from Sam Walton, from Herb Kelleher, any of these people who grew up. They'll talk about certain people that they were either their mentor or something. Mm-hmm. No one has all the answers. That's why I go back to my step 2 video where I say we need help. We need help in different areas. Yeah. And it's okay to say, look, you can read all the books you want, but you also need people to just help guide you. But unfortunately, it's hard for us to listen.
You just mentioned the videos that you publish and create. Could you share with our audience a little bit about what they can expect from your YouTube channel?
Okay.
And what type of videos there and the messages that you're putting out?
Oh, I appreciate that. So right now on my website, which ties into my YouTube channel, so if you just go to the website, lifeiswonderful.love, there's a video section. There's over 40 videos up there. So I talk about the 12 steps of recovery. I also have very short videos because I know how, especially like addicts, you can become very ADD, very OC. We have short attention spans. Right. So I have these 90-second videos on the 12 spiritual principles: honesty, faith, willingness, perseverance. So someone doesn't want to spend a lot of time. Wait, 90 seconds. I mean, 90 seconds, it goes by quick. Right. But most of my other videos are between 7 and 15 minutes, where I talk about other topics like gratitude, contentment, spirituality, but I also talk about anxiety, depression, suicide. I talk about videos on gambling, alcohol. I have a few more. I even have one in Spanish. I did one after George's Floyd. That's my only long video, Black is Beautiful, talking about how race has kind of gotten into our minds. And I have a few other ones that I'm going to come out with. But right now my biggest focus is I'm finishing up a couple videos on trauma, which instead of being all free. So all these videos are free.
Right.
The trauma is kind of be like, kind of getting people excited about my online course. So that's what I'm doing, because the schools were very hesitant. Recovery centers and middle school, high schools, no one wanted to bring you in last year because of COVID.
Obviously, right.
And this year they're still a little bit hesitant. Right. I said, well, just like what we learned like in Clubhouse, or start talking to a lot of bunch of small business entrepreneurs, you start getting that idea, that spark. Right. You start thinking, okay, now I still need to make money.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There's the name of the game is relationships. It's about love. It's about God, but it's also about money.
That's right.
You got to talk about all of it and be happy to talk about. So I said, well, I got to do something differently. And I would listen to some of the people, and I started, well, why don't I just do an online course?
There we go.
There we go.
So that's
right. So that's how it came out. So now I'm also doing an online course as things start to open back up, and then I'll go back to more speaking live engagements.
No, because we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, I want to talk to you about two things. First, because you talked about how when you were searching and venturing out for help and recovery in your personal life, how you didn't feel like the support was there. I want you to share with our audience when we come back from the break how they can be a good friend for someone who needs help, and some of the signs that you might could look for that somebody that's in your circle may need your assistance, and how to be that supportive friend. But then also I want to give you a chance to talk about your online course. Who should be signing up and what they'll gain from that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. We're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, but we'll be right back.
I'm serial entrepreneur Larry W. Brooks, and I'd like to personally invite you to take a closer look at the Pure Hustle clothing brand, along with several books that I've authored to take entrepreneurs, small business owners to the next level of their business. So please take a look at shoplwb.com. How do you survive?
Rent to own is not a myth. Turn your rental payment into a down payment with Divvy Homes and the Prime Real Estate Network. All you need to qualify is a 550 minimum FICO score and $40,000 in annual income. If you've worked your current job for at least the last 6 months and you can prove that you have $2,000 in the bank, your dream of home ownership can become a reality. Please direct message, call, or email the Prime Real Estate Network today and learn more about this exciting new program. Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate, visit our website at brooksanddavis.com. My co-host is the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
Hey,
You
man,
outdid yourself this week, my brother, man.
Come on, man. I always inspire to bring friends that are doing amazing things that I know that the people need, right?
No,
like
I mean, we've had this podcast for over 3 years now. I think this may be one of the more important and needed guests and episodes that we've ever had. So publicly, I want to give you props for this one, brother.
I appreciate that.
This is something that I'm sure members of our audience will be like, what?
Hugo V is a part of my connect now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's the best way to explain it.
This
That's
is
part of my
super official, man. Our guest this week is not only a talented motivational speaker, but he is also the founder of lifeiswonderful.love website and the program. I want to thank him for sitting in with us, Mr. Hugo Vrsalovic. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. And just kind of like Larry was saying is there are so many wonderful small business entrepreneurs here in Texas, in Houston especially. And that's, kind of like we met. We met in that clubhouse room that was designed just not only for small business people, but Houston small business entrepreneurs that know what, that have different talents. And, you start to listen to different people. And that's that's how me and Larry connected. We connected, you start listening to people and you go, oh, and I know you guys had like TJ on this show before. You listen to people like, TJ. There's someone I need to connect with. There's a few other people in those different rooms, and you go, okay, those are the people you get a little more. Then you try to, you like they say, you slide into their DMs. And then you
slide into DMs, make happen.
Oh, you make things happen. Sliding into your DMs can mean a lot of things. I say is like, why can't you make money? Why can't you slide into the same DM and say, okay, let's connect, be friends, or make money?
That's right.
Before our break, you were talking about your website, your YouTube channel, some of the videos, but then also before our break, you talked about the new online education course you've developed. Could you share with our audience who should be signing up for that online course and what is it that they'll take from that online course as far as education?
Thanks. The online course is called The 12 Steps Explained. And how I came about it is since I've kind of tweaked the 12 steps of recovery, using that as a basis. So essentially, what it is the course is set up in almost like 12 chapters. And instead of it being too long, there's 3 questions to each chapter. So that way you're really kind of focused on asking these questions on how to become more self-aware. Now, to me, anybody can be self-aware. So technically, anyone is my audience. But more specifically is people that feel like they feel a little bit lost, confused. They don't know their purpose. Yeah. But so people in recovery. Mm-hmm. So a lot of it's utilizing my experience with the 12 steps of recovery. Yeah. A lot of it's also used with 7 years in therapy and really understanding the therapeutic, the psychological way of really delving into to kind of really how you can find yourself. And the other thing is because I've been a small business owner for over 30 years, using some of my business acumen and learning the whole things like a supply chain and really some of the kind of like business principles, because they're also very similar. So people not only that are kind of in the beginning process or just trying, because there's a lot of people that said, well, I don't know, I really don't know how to work the steps. So, if you just kind of really understand how to work the steps, or you're dealing with a lot of anxiety or depression, how it can really kind of get you focused, because that's really the thing is we all need certain amount of structure, certain amount of ideas. So it can be like people who are just trying to really focus and get a better clarity of who they are.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's probably the most important point, because I was looking at probably a commercial or video, and someone was saying, people are always saying jump out there and be an entrepreneur, but I have no idea what I want to do, right? So one of the things that I've always admired about life coaches is that that's kind of one of the things that they focus on, helping somebody really dig deep to figure out what they have passion about. Maybe you don't want to be an entrepreneur in something that you have passion in, but you just want to do it because it's something that you're good in, right? And so it's funny because Rick and them always tease me about being a football player that never watched football, and I was just good at
true.
it. But I didn't watch sports when I was growing up, but I was good at them. So it's kind of like that too. I think sometimes you just don't know until someone can help you facilitate why those things are important. So I think that's great.
And I just want to add, Hugo, I want to thank you publicly, because it takes a lot for a business person, especially in the environment in which you were educated, where success is important, financial success is even more important, and being financially successful is even more important, that you've dedicated yourself to public service. Because a lot of time that can be underreported, undervalued, and sometimes you can feel like, how much of a difference am I really making? But I want to tell you that from this discussion, what I've been able to glean is how important it is if you are trying to support someone who's in recovery. If there's a member of your family or someone you love that's in recovery, how important it is to be a positive influence. So if you don't mind, could you give our audience some tips on some of the things that they could do if they have a loved one in recovery, that they can do to be supportive, or if there's someone that they think needs help, how they could go about really just breaching that subject with that person?
Oh, that's an excellent question. The number one thing, but this is going to be very hard for each person in your family, is to listen without judgment. Listen without.
That's hard for some people.
It is, but we already seem to already know the person that we're living with, or that we grew up with. Because you could be sharing a bed with a man or a woman for years, and do you really know all their deep down secrets or all their feelings? I don't know. A lot of people, there's people like, well, we just kind of know each other. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you really have deep intimacy? So I would say it really is try to ask questions and saying, okay, what's going on? Because it's really not the alcohol. It's not the coke. It's not the gambling. It's not the sex. It's not the food. Or even the video games. People don't realize is how much time people can just be addicted to video games. Because really the addiction is taking yourself outside of your body, your feelings, and you're escaping. You're becoming numb. But guess what? Your body still has those feelings. You're not feeling them right now. So really the questions is just say, okay, what's going on? And really just try to just be more compassionate.
Wow.
And don't assume anything. Because you may not know. They may have gone through something at school. Let's say they were dealing with a school-age family member. They may have just been recently bullied. There may have been something sexual.
Wow.
There may have been something else, like maybe if you don't know, let's say you're the cousin. You don't really know what's going on in that house, and they're dealing with some types of financial stuff. Could be a health thing. Right. I mean, there's 1,000 things that could be going on. And just ask the question and then say, and really just encourages, look, if you can't talk to me, find someone to talk to. Because really, essentially, is what we do is we're trying to find someone that we feel safe with, that we can open up, so we can address the thing. So you can tell them, look, if you can't talk to me, is there a counselor you can talk to? Can you talk to some type of religious figure?
Facts.
Do you need to go to a therapist? Do you need to go to a 12-step room? Maybe, or suggest, hey, I just heard about these different books. to me, I've gotten a lot of tidbits, whether it's in the business world or in the life world or the emotional world, is by reading a book. And then, you know how that sparks an idea?
No, it
you know,
does.
has something hits and goes, God, that chapter just really spoke to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I want to thank you so much because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's going to be members of our audience that hear your words today and are inspired and motivated to make a change. And I think that's at the core of everything, is all that we're all trying to do is make a positive change. And the fact that you're doing this on a regular basis, I want to thank you so much because, like I said, it's a fight that we definitely need more people like you to fight on a regular basis. So on behalf of myself and everybody in the audience, thank you so much for what you do.
Well, one quick thing, though, but even as you start on this whole thing of change, I always laugh at when people do these forecasts, like their sales forecasts. You know, like year one, I'm going to make $50,000. Year two is going to be up to $300. Year three, I'm up to $7. You know, they assume it's like a straight line. You know, you ever see those things? Just like in business, and just like in life, it's going to go. You're going to have good months, good years, and then you may have a dip.
That's right.
You know, do not get so discouraged. More than likely, something's going to hit you. It's just like, understand what your path is, and even if you stumble or you kind of get discouraged, just keep going and just realize it's just there. And just, you know, like we all struggle. And I'm sure both of you
That's
have
right.
talked
No doubt
plenty
about
of
it.
times, like either just, whether it's business or in your personal relationships, that it's not all smooth sailing.
Never is.
Absolutely,
Never is. Yeah.
man. So, I mean, your words are definitely something that I hope everybody can internalize and carry with them from now and forever, because they're going to always ring true. No matter how much technology we have, like you say, our problems pretty much boil down to the same few things. So definitely keep doing what you're doing. Mr. Brooks,
Yes, sir.
what's going on in the world of the Texas Real Estate King this weekend?
This weekend, this weekend I am going to be hosting a book signing. So for those of you that are able to see the screen, you'll see the flyer that'll pop up. For those of you that are not, follow me on IG. I'll be posting that sometime. So at Texas Real Estate King, I'll be posting the details to it. But I'll be hosting a book signing on Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m.
Oh, look, everybody out there, see, Mr. Brooks doesn't always tell us what's going on this weekend. He usually try to keep it on the low. So this weekend, let's all get out, support him at the book signing. He going to be autographing with his right and left hand. So let's make sure we get that going.
Right.
On behalf of myself, Rick Davis, and the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. As always, if you need anything in the meantime, in between time, we're a text, email, inbox, or DM away. So until next Thursday, I hope everyone out there is safe and be blessed.